Hey everybody, Vivian here with a tutorial for PaperHaus Magazine. I just wanted to share with you the past couple of weeks I've been working with a really creamy color palette. So I'm including some stills so you can see what I'm talking about. Very creamy. This is just cream cardstock with some scoring and some distress ink. And this is a project I recently did. I'm going to be handling those in just a second. Creamy. And this is a project, the flower is what is going to be the focus of the tutorial today. And here's the flower. Very floppy, romantic flower. And by limiting my use of color, it's been really exciting because I think it's sort of drawing attention to textures in my projects. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of things I made before I go on to the tutorial. I made this ornament using a Fisker's punch. The ornamental punch. This was for the Handmade Holidays blog hop. And I think this is a perfect example of how, by limiting color, I was able to really make the textures and the shapes the focus of the project. It's kind of like an artichoke. And then here are some Hampton Art stamps that I stamped onto some tag shapes. And just a little sentence that sums up the year. So I'm going to make one or two of these every year and sum up the year on the tag, and hopefully by our golden years we can tree trimming will become a real beautiful trip down memory lane. Anyway, I think it's a great idea for an ornament in general. A handmade ornament is a great idea for a gift and also something for your family to treasure for generations to come. So that's one project. I made this card to pair with it, and it uses papers from Authentique, as does the ornament. This is also a Hampton Art woodblock stamp, and this is an olive-colored seam binding from Really Reasonable Ribbon. I used a Sizzix Pop and Cuts die to make this card, so it's a real easy, fast way to incorporate a nice little dimensional surprise when you open the card. I don't know if you can see that. So this is Sizzix Pop and Cuts. It's actually the base die and the circular insert that comes in the starter pack, which is really great because I think this shape is really versatile for all the occasions you can possibly think of, and it's a nice little stage to set whatever scene you'd like. These are little laser cut board shapes from Globecraft Memories. So these little reindeer, very cute. And this pattern here is from a Fisker's Border Punch. So it's also somewhat creamy. I love this sort of muted green for Christmas projects. So I made this also recently, and this sloppy flower, which I find pretty romantic, is going to be the focus of our tutorial. It's just a little chipboard box I got at my local craft store for $1 or $2. And I Mod Podged some pattern papers from Teresa Collins's new Now and Then line. This is also the most subtle paper in the collection. And that's what I chose, and I edged the top with washi tape from the same collection. This is a natural mesh fiber. It's actually called cream mesh from Really Reasonable Ribbon, and I got this a while back, and I've used almost all of it up. I believe it's still available there. It comes in green and red as well. But it's on sale, and I think it might sell out. So if you're interested in getting it, I would suggest going over there and ordering it quickly. I don't know where else you could get this. And it's really easy to make this, and I think the payoff is great. You will need to use a needle and thread, so hopefully you're comfortable with that. This is also a decorative brad from the same Teresa Collins collection. So, big sloppy flower. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the tutorial. this is what I have left of my cream mesh. And normally you would cut, depending on how many petals you want. This one has 5 petals. I made another card where this was the focal image, and I used 6 petals. So today I want to make a fuller flower, so I'm going to make 6 petals. But each of these is a cut of mesh that's about 3 inches long. I have just a little bit less than that, so I'm going to cut 6 pieces of this in equal lengths, and they're going to be just a little bit shorter than the 3 inches that I need, but it'll still be a really pretty flower. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just folded it up into 6 pieces. I halved it into 2 pieces and then cut 3 pieces from each of the halves. They're about right. And I actually like to use a thread that's a different color. It's not going to show if your work is neat. And because this fiber has a lot of space in between the threads, it works really well for this type of project. I think if you were to use like a satin that's very tightly woven, it wouldn't give you the same effect. And I really like the natural look of this and the sort of translucency of it because it's such a loose weave. So hopefully this one's long. So let me rethread this. I've actually picked up a number of ribbon work books recently, just to get my imagination going. I'm not really great with like following lots of instructions unless they're heavily illustrated or if there's a video. But I wrote on my blog recently about how important I think it is to get back to these traditions of old. I mean, ribbon work has a history, and used to be something that was passed down, I think, from generation to generation. I mean, I'm not going to go on a political rant, but I think getting back to some of those pastimes would be really great for society, and for people who are not card makers, if they only realized how much happiness you can bring someone with a handmade card, I think a lot of the ills of society would be solved. I hope that's not too spectacular an idea. But anyway, so it's a double thread. I just knotted the base. Let me zoom in so you can see better. Okay, hopefully I can stay. Okay, so here's my needle. It's double threaded. It's double threaded. And at the end, I did a double knot. I don't know if you can see it. Wait. Here's the double knot. How to do a double knot. This is how my mother taught me to do it. I wrap it around my finger and then I twist it and pull. Then I've got a knot. Let me do that again. I wrap it around my finger, I kind of roll it, and then I pull. And then I've got a nice thick knot. What I read in the ribbon book is that if you backstitch, that's a really good way to secure it also. But that's the way I learned how to do it, so that's the way I do it. So now the edges of this fiber are thicker than the center. So I'm going to go close to the end, maybe like a 1/4 inch from the end. just sew so that my ribbon doesn't slip out. I mean, my thread doesn't slip out. And then I'm just going to go down. Can you see what I'm doing? And up. Down. And up. Down. And up. Okay, let me just pull that through. Down and up. Down and up. Okay. So this is ready to be gathered. I'm going to pull really tight. And then, do that again. Then I'm just going to wrap it around. This worked for me. Wrapped it around 1, 2, let's say 3 times. Okay. And then I'm just going to stick my needle in that tight package that I created. So I stuck it under, and I'm going to stick it through the loop and tie it. I'm going to do it again just to be sure it doesn't come undone. I stuck it under the wrapping that I did, pulled it through. Just before I tighten, oh yeah, that's much better. So just before I tighten, I'm going to pull it through. Okay, and knot it. So that's going to be one of my sloppy petals. Okay, now that I have a nice clean background, I'm going to show you one more time. Okay, so it's a thread that was pulled through and it's doubled. There are 2 pieces here. And I'm going to take the end, loop it around my finger, roll it, and then pull it. And then I have a little knot. Okay, that's how my mama taught me. And I used to sew a lot more. I used to sew a lot of my clothes because my mom taught me how to from a very young age. And even before I was able to sew, I used to hang out in her sewing room in our home and just lay down on top of all the piles of fabric and sleep there. And the sound of the sewing machine going would actually be very soothing to me. And I would conk out in her sewing room while she made me little outfits. It's a really precious memory that I have. Okay, so here's my 3-inch piece. I'm folding it. And I'm going to go through the bottom and come up to the top. Not pull too tight because it's not that knot might not hold. I go through again a second time. I'm going to go through again a third time. That kind of went the wrong way. Hold on. Okay. Let me do it one more time. Okay. And I'm going to go down. And this is, what is this? 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going down 1/8 of an inch in and coming up another 1/8 of an inch in, down, up, down, up. Okay, good, you can see that. Down, up, down. Okay, so I'm not going to secure that quite yet. I'm going to gather that, so I'm going to pull it all together and wrap around once, twice, 3 times. And then stick my thread under that wrapped package right there. under that, all that thread and through. Let me do it again. And I have another petal. So whichever way the wind blows, whichever way your petal wants to bend or flop, I think is fine, because we were looking for a really natural, imperfect flower. So here I have two. Okay. And I'm going to make 4 more of those, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I stitched up all of my petals. And now comes the part where we assemble our flower. So they're not perfect. Let me show you one that's kind of imperfect. Where is it? Was it this one? Well, there was one where here it is. It sort of started to, I didn't stitch it well enough. But I think it's not going to be a problem. And the imperfections will be all right. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay. I'm thinking maybe you'll be able to see things better from here. Yes. Okay. You'll be able to see my thread. Good thing I didn't use cream colored thread. Okay, so I rethreaded my needle and I double knotted it at the end. And ultimately I want, it's okay if they're flat like this, but I kind of want this opening to be on the top. So I'm going to stitch kind of through the middle of that, this bunch of fiber there. Right through the middle, right, let me see if you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. So right through where that brown thread is. So right through the middle. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to come loose because that's bound pretty tightly with my stitches at every 1/8 of an inch plus the binding all the way around. And let me see. Let's put this one here. That side doesn't look so great, so I'll do it over here. And I'm going to stitch through this one. Get them kind of close to each other. Let me add this one. Okay. Stitch through the center of that one. And line it up right next to its friends there. Add another one. Let's see which side I want to do. That one looks better to me. Stitch right through. Oops. Okay. And in a second, I'm going to gather them all in like a circular shape. So I'm not too worried about it right now. Okay. Then for my last one, okay, so they're all in a row, they're all happy, but I'm going to bring this around and get it, stick my needle in back where my first one is, and then pull tight. Okay, and they're all going to end up attached in a pretty little bloom. I'll have to do a little bit of fussing, but here's my bloom. Okay, and to get it to hold, just going to add some more stitches here. Okay, and then begins the process of just sort of moving things around so that they look pretty. Let's see if that side looks better. Yeah, I kind of like this side better. And that little thing that's peeking out, I'll just hot glue that guy down. And then, so this looks kind of messy in the center. We're just going to cover that thing completely up. Hold on one second. Okay, so I ordered these Teresa Collins Now and Then brads. Let me show you what they all look like. They're really pretty. I really like the papers in this line. They work for the holidays, but they're all, actually, I think they're intended for year-round use. And the largest ones end up covering my bloom pretty nicely. Because I already have a flower, I feel like that's a little redundant. So this one's redundant. So I'm going to use this chevron stripe one. And I think a brad works better than a button here. Well, I guess you could stitch a button through, but it's just faster. So I stick that brad, stick those prongs straight through down the middle. Okay, and I'm just going to pull back those prongs here. And at this point, you could probably just stick some hot glue on the base and adhere it to your project. I actually think, well, if you want this, you're going to want to pick that up soon, because I think there won't be much stock of this fiber unless they add it back again. But it's on sale right now. So anyway, but you know, if you find a fiber that's like this, that's sort of loosely woven, any loosely woven fiber would work. But isn't it just pretty? I love it. I just love it. So I put this on my little box, and that flower's a little bigger because, as I said before, this is my last bit of supply of this particular fiber, so I made them a little bit shorter than 3 inches. But you could put it on a gift box, you could put it on a really special card. If you like really dimensional layouts, you could use it on a layout too. I think it even would be really pretty if you could somehow make a little hair adornment out of it. But I'm just loving working with fibers these days, and this is one that I've really loved. So anyway, thank you for watching this video and visiting with me here today. I hope you'll stop by my blog, Contadina Keh, CONTADINAK.wordpress.com for more inspirations. I also have a Facebook page that you can link to on the right-hand side of the blog. And I'm on Twitter, finally, Contadina Keh. And make sure you stop by the PaperHaus blog regularly. We have new projects every single day from our talented design team. And that blog is thepaperhaus.com. And it's Haus. Okay, thanks so much for visiting, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.